Hello, Culture Cats. We are live. And do you know what? Today, guys, we've only got Tubbs because Bruno is nursing a, a sickness. We're all nursing a sickness.
Yeah.
But before we go any further, I have to say, I have to apologize to Tubbs. I cut him off just as we were going, just as I put on the counter thingy.
Oh man, I was probably just knocking up my arse anyway.
Well, as always, like Connor says, "Evening, everybody." Evening, Connor. Cheers for the shout out on Twitter there a minute ago. So, guys, we've no Bruno today, but we will push on as such. Jonathan says, "Good evening." Damien says,
Jonathan.
"Evening, Brian and Tubbs," and evening, Damien. Everybody in the chat. Thank you for dropping by. So today we're going to be chatting a little about. We're going to go through the Disney Plus Day announcements, good and bad. I'm going to talk a little about the Eternals. No spoilers. Because Tubbs hasn't seen it.
I know nothing about it anyway.
We'll do the usual segments then as well of what did you play, what you read, and what did you buy. And we were talking, I think we'll start with this in a few minutes. Myself and Tubbs were talking about the Black Panther production getting shut down. That should be a fun topic, shouldn't it be, Tubbs?
Yes, I mean, like, because it's draped in Disney fucking controversy, really, isn't it? Like,
Davey says all too. So, Tubbs, what did you buy this week, or what did you get this week, or did you get anything for show and tell?
I didn't buy anything, but after 2 years, I finally got back in a film set. So that was interesting.
Yes. So, like, as you know, as some of the guys in the chat know, I was supposed to be on that as well this week. So, tell me, what did I miss?
I'd be honest about it, man. I mean, like, I would have loved to have had you in the scene, as always, because as the lads on this show know now, I refer to you as my screen wife, since we've been on screen together so much.
Begrudgingly.
Yeah, begrudgingly. No, but it's been it would have been awesome to have you in the scene, for it, like, you know what I mean. But no, it went really well. It went really well. I genuinely I had a lot of anxiety before I went on set. I think it was with the COVID stuff and whatever else, But
you had a performance anxiety, Tubbs?
But no, I didn't have performance anxiety. I actually fucking floored the fucking scenes, which I was delighted with. But I had a lot of anxiety before I got to set. I was kind of, oh my god, it's been 2 years. Can I still do this racket? Turns out I can, and I'm pretty fucking damn good at it. But
hold the ego, Tubbs. Just hold the ego, for 5 minutes.
Yeah. But it was good to get back at it, man. It felt normal. Like, it felt like a normal thing I used to do before all this madness in the world happened. So outside of that,
with gems.
Yeah, I mean, it's Christmas is like fucking 6 weeks away, so I have no money for
don't say the word. Don't say that word.
Yeah. So yeah, when it comes to buying things right now, I'm just waiting for my birthday and Christmas to get shit. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean.
Connor just said, "Hi, James McGurr." Damien says, "Been a Thundercats Plus week for me. Finally got Slight, Jaga, and an extra Captain Cracker. Sorry, but I really love that new Slight, Brian. He's worth waiting for." Yeah, it's just me. I haven't been into the Thundercats in years. I was one of those kids who had the Thundercats curtains in my room, like when I was like 5 or 6. But I've never gotten into the figures. It's the only franchise I haven't really gotten back into the figures in, because Super 7 are doing them. But they're starting early tonight, Tubbs. Jonathan says, "Did you not floor the scenes due to not being very far off them, Tubbs?"
Ouch. Well, I am playing there is one moment in it where there's it's a shot of me and 3 other actors, and you can clearly see that I am not of height, and I'm the smallest one in the scene. I put it this way, I'm the smallest one in the scene, but I'm the mouthiest one in the scene. So,
well, that would say about Jack Russell's all mouth, no height, like.
Yeah, I mean, it was. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, the lads in the chat wouldn't know this, but we shot it in the cathedral. Across from the Loch Baron in the old courthouse. That big huge cathedral there. Like, we shot it in the church area and the steps and everything. It looked pretty fucking cool. So yeah, it was good, a good change of pace to get back out into it. But the only problem is now I have kept this beard, and now I am subject to this beard for another 2 weeks. I can't shave it.
More, haven't you?
I have more next Saturday, and then the post credit scene thingy. Oh, actually, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that. Scratch that out. Wow. But yeah, I have more.
Yeah, no, if you didn't say what was in the post credit scene anyway, so you just said there may be one. Like if it's raining that day, maybe.
I mean, there could be more than one. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah.
So I've one or two.
Yeah, I'm gonna rein you back in there. You're gonna tell us the whole plot now in a minute.
Yeah.
Can I tell them what kind of character you're playing?
I mean, it's pretty much out there. Like, I mean, I think we talked about it. I mean, I think even Paddy talked about it when he was on.
I think we talked about it. This Tubbs is playing a perverted priest looking for under nines.
This is it though. This is it. See, I thought that as well in results night, which is on Facebook. I play Father Johnny in that, and he was a perverted priest. Like, he was a pure shady, underhanded, perverted priest. In this version, he's more of an eccentric prick. Like a really underhanded prick, like, you know what I mean? Like, even the way we designed the scenes,
like he's in real life. So
he's basically like the stereotype of what people look at Irish priests to be. Just, you know, like fucking, like, just a complete asshole. Like, and I played that remarkably well.
Wouldn't be much of a stretch, like.
No, God, no, I'm an asshole in real life anyway, so it's like, fuck off.
Connor says, you want to check out my awesome acting skills? No, hon, these are pre-orders. I paid for these last year.
There you go.
Jonathan said, picked up the War for Cybertron Rodimus Prime only because of the Black Friday sale at Big Bang. I was going to mention that, actually.
Yes,
Connor,
you sent that to me, right?
I did.
You did, yes. There was a lot of good shit in that.
Tubbs, do you have an Instagram or a link to your work?
See, my Instagram, as Brian will tell you, is when I went back on Instagram. I think it was early this year, wasn't it? I only went back on Instagram to promote the podcast. Now the podcast obviously took a break, but I'll be coming back with the podcast in the new year, with a fresh take.
I think Damien, if you look up Celtic Badger Media on YouTube, you'll find a lot of movies with myself and Tubbs in them. A lot of short films, funny bits and pieces. Yeah,
and I mean, I like some of my old backyard wrestling videos on my own channel, which is Twisted Tubbs. Twisted Tubbs, all one word with a Z at the end. And you can find all my old wrestling stuff on my podcast and my first feature film. So
nice.
Yeah, there's a trinket of what do they call it?
I'll find a link there in a bit and stick it in the chat.
Yeah,
for your YouTube. Connor says, Jonathan, oh, well used. Jonathan says, so like Brendan Grace and Father Ted, that's not far off, actually.
Yeah. Very much. Yeah. I mean, the beard. I have a fucking huge ass beard, and I had to wear this collar. I was joking and said that I actually weighed myself recently, and I lost a stone in weight. Like, I've actually lost a stone, but I lost none around my neck. Like, I literally had to pry the collar onto my neck. Like, it was fucking claustrophobic, but it looked the part.
I'm currently trying to find your hold on. So if I'm slow, I'm looking for stuff.
Yeah,
so
we're
both
running on empty tanks here, kids.
I've just dropped the link to Tubbs' YouTube in the chat, so you can check that out.
Yeah, there's some old videos of me jumping off things, and a much younger me.
Connor says, "Don't be shocked, people. That is the actual color of Rockshore beer in Tubbs' glass." Yeah, Rockshore is absolute shocking shite.
Well, that's actually just water because I don't drink anyway.
But that's just what Rockshore is anyway.
or a friend of ours is works in fine wines, so he got my brother a rake of these, and I was like, I want those. So I had no glasses at home; it was all cups.
Jonathan says, and Grace was deadly in that show. Yeah, he was excellent in that show. You like that, don't you, father? Boys in their little shorts.
I mean, not to spoil it, but there's the scene in Results Night is very like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pure touchy feely priest, like.
Just doesn't sound
Well,
right.
I'm pure touchy.
Even the way
priest.
you said it, does it sound worse? It sounds actually worse when you say it for some reason. But
I mean,
anyway.
what was your man's name that was in the scene with us? Actually, was it Derek?
Oh yeah, you totally made him feel totally uncomfortable. It was hilarious.
Oh yeah, just simply because me and Mikey like just told him like whatever I did in the scene, just like don't stop going, like just keep acting, and I just persisted to touch this poor Rufus leg. It made him completely uncomfortable in the scene. It was fucking hilarious.
But this week for my show and tell, I also have nothing. But I did go on to the Big Bang sale. I did pick up a few bits, just they haven't arrived yet. I did a lot of pre-ordering as well because it sold some bits, so I did some pre-ordering. So I do have stuff coming.
You've been kind of out of action, kind of more or less as well. So
yeah, lack of money, injury, all
lack
that
of money. Yeah.
But,
so it's been a quiet week.
Just a little update on mine. I'm pretty much the same, but I'm going for physio, so I should be fine soon, hopefully. But
the physio will help do the physio. I mean, it's different, obviously, but when I like wrecked the discs on my back, like physio was a treat. Like it actually worked well over time, so it will sort out.
Well, that's the one thing. I did go for tests and stuff, and they were all clear. So it's definitely just a nerve problem or something.
Yeah.
So what did you watch, guys, in the chat? And Tubbs, what have you watched this week?
This week I watched.
Or what did you play? What did you do?
I actually went back and started playing Mafia 3 the other day because I realized that. Yeah, but you remember like the remastered versions of each, but the third one, because I realized that they had released like a rake of free DLC for it. So obviously, when you got the definitive edition, all the DLC was there. I was like, I've never played any of this, like so now I'm playing the DLC like story arcs, which is and as you know, Brian, I'm a real big fucking Mafia fan, like.
Jonathan said, is that the first sale over here that actually had proper bargains? I honestly don't recall one like that before on collectibles. There has actually been a couple of sales on Big Bang, but I find their website can be difficult to navigate at times.
It's my only problem with it.
Like there is like I got that Silver Sable that I showed last week for $12.50. She wasn't in the Marvel Legends section. She was in the Spider-Man section. So now, there is stuff like that you can find.
Like one thing because I did go through the sales section in it, and if like for graphic novel fans, like people that like graphic novels, obviously this is the Culture Cast and it's geek fandom, and there's some fucking really really decent fucking price sales on them. Like,
awesome sales of comics there.
I was seeing fucking books for like fucking between €3 to €8 on it. Like, I was kind of going, maybe I might try and stock up on some fucking.
Jonathan said that third Mafia game was so bad when it came out. Don't recall finishing it as enough was enough.
I mean, a lot of. Do you know what it was for me as well with Mafia 3? Because when it came out, there was a lot of issues. There had a lot of patches and stuff that had to go into the game and things like that. Kind of like Until Dawn, Days Gone. Do you remember when that first came out? A lot of people slept on that game, and now because it's on PC and everyone got it free on kind of like PlayStation Plus, it's one of the most talked about games online at the moment. Games after getting a brand new life about it. I recommend John going back and maybe try Mafia 3 again. But if you don't want to play Mafia 3, man, I highly, if you like the games, Mafia 1 and 2, like the remaster of Mafia 1 is fantastic. Is genuinely a fantastic game, and the remaster for PS4 on Mafia 2 is really good as well. Graphically, it's not the best. It's like the weakest graphically of the three, but it's like the best game of the whole three.
Is that the one that's in where you're playing the color guy back in the 60s?
No, that's 3. That's when you're playing.
That's what I'm on about, yeah.
Yeah, that's number 3. Yeah, back in New
Orleans. But yeah, I found that decent up to a point, and then it just got really repetitive.
That's the only thing with the Mafia games. Once you beat the core storyline, like with a Grand Theft Auto, like you'll fuck around in that in the open world and just play around.
I find with the Grand Theft Auto in a while.
Yeah, but with the Mafia games, I find it's you're playing them for the core story. You're like you fucking around inside. You can mess around in the open world, but it's not as much fun as like a Grand Theft Auto 5 or things like that. You know.
Yeah, he said came around around the same time or after
Yeah, it
GTA
did.
5.
So I think a lot of people slept on that. Like, you know.
He said might give it another go as 1 and 2 were awesome. Yeah, I got the
they were.
remastered trilogy as well. And the first one, just fantastic game. It's very
It
Goodfellas,
was.
like, and I love Goodfellas.
But I mean, for me, out of all three of them, you know this, Brian, number 2 is always my favorite, the one with Vito.
That's the one you start off in like World War II or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You play Vito, like he shows up in the third game as like one of the characters that's in the story. But he's yeah, that's my favorite out of the three of them. I always dug it. I just fucking loved it. Like, but
Connor said there, great sale on when I'm smashed. Yeah, Connor, I heard your story the other day, splashing out on the kids like you always have to do as well, Tubbs.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, I mean that's the worst thing about being a fucking collector when you have kids, man. It's like, you know, you kind of have to be super selective about what you're buying because you just don't fucking have money to spend it all the time on the things you want, you know.
My advice, as always, you know what I'm going to say here, Tubbs, is don't have kids. Buy a dog.
I'm 3 deep in now, so I think I'm pretty good. I'm not goose, but you know, I'm not having any more. That's a given. Like,
yeah, you do. But Damien said, can't remember, Brian, but were you planning on getting any of the new Spider-Man retro figures? Yeah, I want the whole wave, but I don't know whether they're coming out for Christmas or not. If they're coming out for Christmas, I can almost swing them as a Christmas present, but
now,
if not...
Are they new? Is this a brand new line, or is this an extension to the ones they've already released?
Next wave of the ones that were out already. So you're
getting
Hobgoblin, there's more Hammerhead, which Shocker is another one. I'm going to look these up because
yes, the one with the black spider, isn't
it? The silver armor Spider-Man, actually.
Oh, so is the black spider already out?
I'll show you now.
Yeah, because I thought he was with the new wave. I could be fucking wrong on that. Like,
no, you're right. Actually, I'm the one that's in the wrong here.
Fucking. You know what I did rewatch as well the other night, actually. Just because I love it. Is Point Break, the original one.
Yes, it's on Netflix now, isn't it?
Yeah, the man. See the amount of fucking like Netflix. Like, obviously it has it, you know, puts on its a lot of like. Oh yeah. But Netflix puts on a lot of new stuff as well. But like they've put on a ton of old stuff, like A Time to Kill, A Confidential, Ransom, things like that. You know, Arcane is one I want to watch, actually.
That's the anime with the girl from Bumblebee is doing voiceovers.
Funny fucking story. Did you see the poster art for it on Netflix?
No.
There's a character in it that has like a blue hair and it's braided down. I was talking to Tristan Risk the other day.
I saw her putting up a status that she was claiming that character as herself.
Apparently, and I don't know if there's any like truth to this, but apparently there's like a couple of characters on the show that have just been like modeled off people in the industry.
It's based on League of Legends, though, isn't it?
Yes.
That thing, yeah.
But so apparently
there's characters out of that.
But there's a lot of character imagery in this new animation that are like, if you look at them, you're kind of going, it looks like such a person. But this character, I'll send you on the link to it in a while, or the picture. Dude, it is. You've worked with Tristan.
I saw it. Looks very same. Yeah.
It is fucking like looking at Tristan Risk, like it's crazy.
James says there, I was in Big Bang the other day. Great shop. I hate that you guys could just stroll in there whenever you like.
Yeah.
Decided to buy the Human Torch Marvel Select. I like it. Yeah, I like certain Marvel Selects, like the bigger ones that go with Legends. I think I got. Was it?
Do you know what I think we should do? Right. myself and you, Brian, we should just like throw 20 quid a week into a fucking jar, right? And this time next year, just
I
me and
can't
you.
afford 20 quid a week, you mad?
No, but what we'll do then is, right, we'll have like over 1,000 quid a piece. We'll just go up at me and you just buy a fuck ton of shit inside a big bag, all right? And do a live culture cast while we're there.
20 quid a week. What's that? That's 80 a month. That's over a year away. Jesus Christ, us.
That's fucking further down the line planning, my friend.
Yeah, that's true, I suppose. John is having to do the exact same mission types over and over and over for the sub boss. It just killed me. Yeah, once I got to the second island of Mafia 3, I was just thoroughly bored of it and put it away.
Yeah, but I mean, as I was saying a while ago, especially with the Mafia games, it is once you clear the story, like once you have the story completely done.
Oh no, but you had to do all of those as part of the story. Like that's what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, look. I mean, like I do agree with you. There's a lot of repetitiveness, and there was a little bit more, repetitiveness in the third one than there was in the first two. Even though you had to like retract the steps of the same streets and stuff. But I think you know what killed those games as well is because when you play like even a Red Dead Redemption, like or like a Days Gone or no, but like Days Gone or GTA.
They hold you more though.
No, but what I'm saying is what it is over time you get to a certain point in the story, you start to unlock like fast travel.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Sections and like Spider-Man has it as well as there's fast travel sections where instead of you having to go the entire way across the map, you can just hit like the subway.
I think the problem with Mafia 3 was just it was an uninteresting world as well. Like
I mean, like
mentioned there.
And to be fair, I mean, when you dig in, if you get deep into the story, there's some fucking moments. Like, I mean, like remember I said to you can go down like the docks and stuff down by like the glades.
Oh, you go down the docks, all right, Tubbs.
No, but you can just like carry a body and throw it in the water, and you can just watch the crocs like come up and devour bodies. Like, you know, I was going to go like little things like that. That's pretty fucking cool. And to be fair, it is accurately correct for the times.
Well, to be fair.
Like they say some shit that's pretty racist in that game. You're kind of going like they would not get away with that nowadays. You know?
No, they would because it's a thing of its time type deal. You can get away with it.
If we ever get fucking was it GTA 6 anyway? It'll be like fucking they won't be allowed to say nothing.
Connor says I thought that wave was early 22, but not 100%. Yeah, I'm just hoping it comes out sooner. That's just me. I want Hobgoblin from that wave.
He's a very underrated character, man.
Ned Leeds. Yeah, Connor, I think that wave's early 22. I'm after the black suit Spidey. And it's jumping. The chat is jumping. Brian, to be fair, I order online from them as cheaper than traveling out to them from where I live, lol. Yeah, I know it's cheaper to like €6 compared to 60 quid in petrol and what have you to travel up. It's just the feel of being in an actual proper comic shop. There's nothing like that down here.
Yeah, we've got nothing.
Smith's like, and you're tripping over.
And to be fair, Smith's
is in there.
Yeah, Smith's isn't a comic store. Smith's is just like you might find some shit there.
You don't get the vibe.
You don't, not at all. It's not like a Forbidden Planet or a Big Bang Comics. Do you know what I mean?
Forbidden Planet, they kind of sneer at you sometimes when you're in there. So
I know that, but what I'm saying is when you go in, it's their store dedicated to this kind of fandom. You know what I mean?
Damien says Marvel Select the Lizard pretty much perfect and for displaying with Legends. Is he? I always thought he was a little bit too big when I saw him before.
He is bigger than most of them anyway, to be fair.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know.
Do you know what I mean?
And yeah, Connor, that's a great idea, actually. Get the fucking train up and we can all have a meet up, a coffee and a shop. That's definitely like an idea for early in the new year, and obviously not now. And once fucking COVID dials back a bit again. But yeah,
COVID can suck my fucking balls is what I can do, because 2022 better go and fucking be a better year than the 2 fucking lame bastard years.
I think it's I've seen what the problem is now. It's Bruno. We got to the 25th minute and you said your first fuck.
Yes, you see, Bruno probably fucking...
Bruno draws it out of us.
There's 2 in 2 seconds. The minute you brought it up, I'm cursing.
Nick says you can do that in Dublin too. Mick Leonard, man, love your podcast. I listen to it every Monday. It's great crack. They do the Sure Listen podcast. Great crack.
Oh yeah.
Download on the podcast apps. Jonathan said, didn't some streamer get banned from Twitch for feeding NPCs to Crocs in Red Dead 2?
Jonathan, man, that's the only reason you play Red Dead Redemption is to fucking like hog tie bitches and throw them off cliffs, you know, and like things like that, you know. I've seen some wild videos of people just like putting people on train tracks and waiting for the trains, or like hog tying them down and like letting like boars and bears attack them and shit.
Like, I think the common trait here is these games bring out the worst in people.
Dude, we've had this conversation before. Like when we were playing online with Paddy and Baz before, when I was waiting for you to collect me in the game, I was there like down an alleyway beating fucking grandmothers with a fucking bat because I was bored.
Well, it's like that Westworld TV show. You see what people do, like to the actual androids. They rape them and beat them, and Tubbs froze there for a second.
Oh.
But yeah, you're back again. But yeah, it does. It brings out the worst in people. Like, Brian, speaking of those retro Spider-Man figures, did you find that STCC Venom was a right bitch to get off the card? No. I still have the card fairly intact here, like, and I have Venom too. So it wasn't that bad. I just got it under there. Little tear, and it came right out from underneath it. But I don't know why, because I'm probably going to end up tossing the card anyway. Because Mick says, stop it right. No, honestly, Mick, your show's a great laugh. I listened to it on the way home from work every Monday when I was at work, because I'm out of work at the moment. But yeah, it's good crack, and I like listening to your reviews and stuff of movies. And Jonathan says, January sales for a meetup, maybe, lads. Let's not make dates yet, but I do think that could be a good idea.
Yeah, I think that could be a really good idea, man. Because I like coffee and I like fucking nerd stuff.
Tubbs
and Dublin has strip clubs, so.
Tubbs is a coffee gremlin.
Yeah, now to be fair, I don't drink as much of it as I used to, because there was a time when I used to drink, when I worked in a call center, man, I used to drink like 12 cups a day, just so I could like coherently get through that fucking shitstorm that was a job.
Tubbs, don't be talking bad about Bruno. He's in the chat.
Fucking left us, Bruno, you prick.
Aye, feck boys. He's taking the big shit in the sky, I think.
Aye, my lover.
Exactly, Tubbs. That's the best part of these open world GTA style games.
Do you know what I think it is, man? Do you know what I think it is? I had a conversation about that before. I think people do this heinous shit in those games because it's like it's violence without repercussion.
It's a release.
It is, but you can do these horrible things in this game because I'm just doing it to this NPC, you know. But you're still out there, like you're like beating.
Have you not watched Free Guy, Tubbs? They have feelings.
I fucking saw it twice.
Jonathan says, "Sup, Bruno? Get yourselves into the Disney store. Crazy amount of legends for 12 quid each. Oof, I've seen that. All right, that looks class. I think I actually have a lot of them. Yeah, in Grafton Street, I think." Bruno said, "Sorry guys, had to piss out some stones."
Oh, buddy.
Bruno is passing the Infinity Stones, unfortunately for him.
Oh, they're doing all right, buddy.
And he says, "Hey, Jonathan." Yeah, he's running to the jacks back and forth. So, what did I watch this week? I watched an old show, actually. Well, not old in the old sense, from 2019, so pre-COVID times, I suppose, called Dead Pixels.
Yeah, like 19 years ago.
Yeah, 19 months ago, almost. It's called Dead Pixels. It's on Netflix. It used to be on Channel 4. I was
going to watch it. Is it good?
Yes, it's about like 20-somethings who play like a game, kind of like World of Warcraft online, and they're constantly chatting to each other, and there's a guy, a girl, and an American guy, and they're playing the game together the whole time. And it's hard for me to describe it, but it's just so funny. It's like the three of us, myself, you, and Bruno, the way we talk to each other.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, it's absolutely.
I actually have it on the list to watch, like, but I haven't watched it yet.
I watched season 1 in one sitting because they're only all like 20-minute episodes.
I fucking love that, man. Remember that show I was telling you about, the end of the fucking world?
Yeah.
It was like I think it was like 10 episodes a season. It's 2 seasons, but they're like 22 minutes long. So it was an easy watch. It was like you fly through the seasons. Like, but actually, I did watch one more thing this week. Was episode 5 of Chucky.
Oh yeah, I've been watching Chucky as well.
Yeah, I am digging this show, man. Like,
I am enjoying
digging
it, but the people in it are so annoying.
But did you know what I fucking loved was? I mean, for anyone in the chat that's watched it, or hasn't seen it yet, like the flashback sequence with Charles Lee Ray, the fact that they had his daughter in prosthetics to look like he did in like the early Chucky movie, like that was fucking wild to me, man. And she fucking looked like him.
Did you find it weird where they had the actor, the young guy playing him, but his voice?
Oh, it was like Fiona Dourif in the makeup, but it was her, like it was Brad Dourif's voice.
Yeah, it was the guy with the black hair. Was that her? Was it?
Do you remember the long black hair?
Yeah, that was it had his voice.
Yeah, that was young Charles Lee Ray. That was Fiona Dourif.
Yeah. That
was his daughter in makeup. Like, I was fucking floored by it, man. I was going, Jesus Christ, that looks so fucking good.
Said, it's a bit of, can I actually do this crazy shit in the game too? But yeah, like Chucky is fantastic. Like, as I said though, the kids in it, they wreck my head.
Yeah, you were saying that like, you're not gonna them it. But I think the kids were like a setup for like a new direction. But I think the back end of the season seems to be, because they're bringing in a lot of like lifer characters, all the older characters as well. So I think the next 5 are going to fill in the gaps to like
the girl from the wheelchair now is after coming into it as well. Like,
yeah, because I think what's going to happen is because I know a lot of people online were kind of, when it started, they were like, when is this in the timeline? Like when is this happening? Is this after Curse? Is this after? But now I think this is feeding into this happened after the last movie, but now the back end is going to fill in the gaps. I think, which is, it's always good to have the nostalgia characters back.
I rewatched Shang-Chi as well because it came on Disney Plus. I watched it the other night.
Still haven't seen it. I
honestly think it's better watch the second time.
You said it was better second time round.
And like there's like, without spoiling it, you know, the current Marvel formula, there's a big CGI thing at the end, but like it's good in this. It's different, but everything leading up to it is really good. And the guy playing the Mandarin, Tony Leung, is fucking. He's a scary dude. It's not all. And again, like when it was over, I was like, "Fuck's sake, why didn't we get to see Robert Downey Jr. going one-on-one with him?" Like, that would have been fantastic.
See, these are the things that
definitely robbed of that. Like,
yeah. I mean, like you got the Mandarin, but it wasn't the Mandarin you wanted.
Like, that wasn't the Mandarin. And there was a funny little joke about him, acknowledging that Mandarin as well in the movie. I won't spoil it for you, but go watch it when you get a chance this week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking this week. I mean, this week genuinely, I'm looking at a lot of things on my timeline. Like, I mean, like I gotta watch Bond. There's a lot of it. Like, I gotta catch up on a lot of shit. Like, my biggest problem is like Brian knows this very well. Is like by the time the kids are in bed most nights and everything, you know, it's like because they're school nights, you know, because they're long days. I have every intention of going to throw on Black Widow tonight. I'll throw on Shang-Chi. And what do I end up doing, right? Brooklyn Nine-Nine, 70 Show, or How I Met Your Mother.
If it's a choice between Black Widow and Shang-Chi, you go for Shang-Chi. That's all I'll say.
I mean, I've heard this. Black Widow is not a good movie. Like,
it is a good movie. It's not a great movie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I like Black Widow. I mean, she's a character I do like, so
it's worth.
I might end up loving it.
It's worth it for the other girl's performance in it, whose name is.
And I love her. I mean, I mean,
Elena,
she's
brilliant in it.
She was brilliant in Fighting with My Family.
I think she's been excellent in anything I've seen her in. That horror film as well. What's the name?
Midsommar.
Midsommar. She was excellent in that as well.
I'll go hands down and say she's the best part of it.
After hit, and apparently she's in Hawkeye as well. Like, so, if we're planning on watching that, which looks great as well.
I mean, I give it another 10 years though.
And I think, watch Hawkeye.
No, I'll definitely watch Hawkeye because it's got a Christmas theme, and you know I'm all about the Christmas. But I think give it another 10 years. I think every big name actor in Hollywood.
Will have passed through the Marvel anus.
Like, no, but they'll either be in a Marvel movie or a DC movie. It seems to be going
I
that
think
way.
we're there already, though, aren't we?
No, but what I mean is there's still actors and actresses that haven't like are still doing like regular movies. I think it's going to get to a point where like they're going to be like they're going to buy up all the big names to show up in these things. Like, just a theory.
Yeah, like I think we're nearly there already. Most of the big name actors have been in.
Yeah, Marvel.
One
Marvel
or two of them.
Chunk of Hollywood working on their stuff. Like,
back to the comments Connor says about the Disney store. Very little Star Wars in there. Bruno, all good. Much love, lads. John, my heart goes out to you. Serious, not fun. That.
Yeah.
And Bruno says as well, Dead Pigs is hilarious. I've been on.
Okay, that is two of my boys now telling me to watch this show. Like, so that is a given.
Started season 2 today as well.
There's 2 fucking seasons?
I had to find the other season through other ways. But anyway.
Oh, yes. Means and ways of internet.
I had to sail the 7 seas and put on my pirate hat. I watched Narcos Mexico season 3 this week. Brilliant show. This is one I really need to get back into because I stopped watching it when the big man went out of it, Pablo Escobar. And
oh yeah.
Yeah, I need to start watching that again. Bruno says, "Thank you, Jonathan. Sucks big time." Bruno, that could be a solution. James says, "Saw Narcos myself, Connor, really good." Okay, that's 2 of my boys, as Tubbs said. Amazing acting and so well produced. I think there was like when they were doing, didn't the location scout go missing in Mexico when they were filming one of the seasons of that? Got kind of too close. Got kind of too close to the cartels, actual cartels out there, like. Amazing to Connor roll on season 4. I had to go back and watch the end of season first, as it feels so long since I watched that season. Mick says, I fell asleep during the final CGI battle. Yeah, in Shang-Chi, it was very could have been done better, but overall I liked it. Lol, Connor, you ever watch Foundation? That's the one that was produced here, was it? Foundation.
Now, I remember
sure it was.
When I was on my like sabbatical from the show, when I was off the show for a few weeks. And I was in the comments 1 or 2 of the weeks, and it felt really, really fucking weird. So, Bruno, does it fucking feel weird that you're in the comments interacting instead of actually on the show this week?
Connor says the El Chapo show on Netflix is brilliant too. Yeah, I was going to start that. I'm going to actually write that down.
And I have so fucking many things to catch up on. Like,
I will take like, what are they? I don't know. I started to drift it off. I will go back to it though. Yeah, Black Widow sucks big time.
I bet she fucking does.
Mick Leonard says Pew. No problem. Florence Pugh. That's what the name I was looking for. If I had to choose out of the 2, Dan Stevens or Ed Skrein for Bond, who'd you pick? Oh, Dan Stevens all the time out of those 2. Definitely. I'm a big fan of Dan. Connor, it's really good, but has habit of doing pointless flashback stuff. You already know the basics at episode 10 now and think you know what's going on. I will definitely go back to it. It's Foundation. Marvel might start avoiding big name actors cut costs. Last few MCU movies not done amazing profit wise, and Eternals are looking like it will be a money losing flop. Yeah, the location scout was murdered. Yeah, I heard that. All right. It feels weird as fuck, Tubbs, but I love the chat as well. Bruno, I bet you love me reading out your comments as well, don't you fucker?
But you know what I think that is as well is because I mean when we started this, Bruno was in the chat, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was, and I think it was weirder for me because I started on the show and then I ended up in the chat. I was like, this is so weird interacting this way, when I'm so used to being on screen with the boys, you know. But we miss you, Bruno. Come back.
Just on Jonathan's comment there, Marvel might start avoiding using big name actors to cut costs. I think they always have like used lesser known actors and made their own stars, like Simu Liu from Shang-Chi. no one had heard of him. Like my friend Michael had heard of him, all right, but I hadn't.
But I mean,
And a lot of the cast
but
in
even
that.
but even with the like, I mean, I think I was saying it to you earlier. It was like when you look at the Infinity Saga, like I mean, the smoothness of that entire like 3 phases was like was insane. Like how well they did all the movies. Like everything wasn't like, let's be honest, not everything was a fucking home run. There was one or two kind
No,
of
obviously
different.
not.
Well, in personal opinion, do you know what I mean? People that might not have liked a certain movie, and like this, but as a saga, it was flawless. It seemed to be kind of hitting a few stumbling blocks and kind of, and I know the pandemic has a lot to kind of do with
But
that,
like,
as you were saying about Black Panther and everything else, you know. Um, it seems to be a lot more issues attached to this kind of run, you know.
hey, there you go now, Bruno. I highlighted it.
Just get your stroke on, buddy. Get your stroke on.
What I had this argument with someone else in the comment section earlier on today about the MCU being shaky or whatever. I
No, I
would
don't
say
mean
like
shaky, but it just seems like
the
it seems like
Infinity
they're coming
Saga
up.
is one block. It's the way I put it, right?
Yeah, no, but what I mean is this set of blocks seems to be not shaky or fucking. It just seems to be like they're running into a lot more problems early, a lot earlier than they did with the first kind of run. You know what I mean? And I know, as I said, that's pandemic. The
I
fault
wouldn't
of the
blame the
pandemic as
pandemic
well.
either.
No,
I
but I
would
mean, like, but
say
now, do you think maybe, right? Because I said this to you when Shang-Chi trailer first came out and Eternals first came out. I I didn't really know anything about either of them, so there was no none of me like there was no part of me going to come seeing that first night. Do you know, I was going, all right, that looks cool. That was my reaction. Do you think a lot of people outside of like diehard fans like probably don't really know these characters? Do you think that's maybe what it is?
like for me personally, like I call myself like I'd know 10% of the Marvel universe, and I'd still call myself a big fan. That's how
Yeah,
much of it
yeah,
is that there is, though. It's like
yeah.
I had heard of the Eternals. I had seen Shang-Chi in other people's comics. I hadn't read any of his stories or any of their stories. But when I found out the movies were coming out, I did. I went and looked them up or whatever. But I do think they're finding it hard because, firstly, the first 3 movies, one was a prequel origin story of a character that's already dead.
Yes,
The
you kind of knew
second,
the outcome of that.
the second was another character who none of the casual fans will have heard of. None.
Yeah, that's what I
Like,
meant. Casual fans, like.
and same with Eternals. No one will have heard of them. And that's like the next 3 movies are Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and he's either Black Panther or Thor.
It
When
was
those 3 are
supposed to be
done,
Black Panther, wasn't it? So do you think they'll rotate that out now?
I'm not sure. But like
Be interesting to see what gets
when
that
those
slot.
3 are done, though, come back and the picture might be totally changed. Is what I'm
Yeah,
trying to
no,
say.
because and I only say this is because I remember reading it. I think it was last week or the week before that there was an issue with scheduling. It looked like a lot of their calendar was being pushed back to like late 2022 into 2023. Like there
That's
was going to be
because
like another
they were
gap.
saying though. They were saying though that's because they're doing so many things at the moment that their team was spread thin or whatever. So they
And
wanted to make sure.
another thing, do you remember we mentioned this on the show a few weeks ago? I don't know if any of the lads in the chat know about this or have been keeping tabs on it about IATSE. It's like the union for like or cameramen, all like basically the workers of the film industry, not the actors or not the producers, but it's like all like the grafters, like DPs, all that kind of stuff. Apparently now the whole Alec Baldwin issue, incident with the whole film, with the guns and stuff. Apparently now that it's looking like there's going to be a lot more flack on that side, and if they do decide to end up going into a strike, that shuts down all production in the States. Like,
Jesus.
so that could push it back even more. You know what I mean? So it's a weird one. Like,
Yeah, like I don't know, to be honest.
I read these things and kind of joke because let's be honest, I don't fucking work in the industry, man. You know, I act and stuff, but I'm not in the industry. Like, well, I suppose I'm in some part of it, but not Hollywood fucking LA, like. But it's the American side of that industry seems to be like on kind of shaky ground now at the moment.
2 seconds now. I'm just looking up
from what
something.
I'm reading, anyways.
Now, Jonathan's comment there, he said, Godzilla
That's
versus
fair.
Kong and Bond have done pretty well profit-wise. Disney can't blame the pandemic as a sole reason for poor performance. I will say, though, on Bond, they held it back for a year and lost a ton in revenue and advertising and stuff. And
Yeah.
Bond is always going to make money anyway.
No, but I do agree, because even Halloween Kills, and we both kind of like had our kind of our chops on that movie when we talked about it, but that ended up making a ton of fucking money at the box office as well. Do you know what I mean? So I do agree there is some factual fucking facts to John's statement about that. Do you know what I mean? People are back in cinemas. I mean, they're not making, let's be honest, these movies at the moment aren't gonna break $1 billion worldwide. They're just not, because the way everything is being laid out at the moment, COVID it's just not. You're not going to make $1 billion like Avengers did. Not the way it is at the moment, anyway. It's not the design at the moment isn't there for it, you know. Especially because, I mean, like you're putting it straight out on stream in was it a month or two after it releases? You know what I mean? Because people, you know yourself, especially with the way the world is with COVID, man, and everything else. Actually, I hope we don't get shut down for saying COVID on this video, because apparently I've been reading on fucking line. Apparently people are getting like demonetized for fucking saying COVID all the time in their videos.
Yeah, and you've said it about 4 times now, so stop.
Yeah. No, but it's fucking weird, man. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. Is like the media world at the moment is a very strange beast.
But like he mentioned as well, Godzilla versus Kong, that made 467 million there. I just looked it up. Worldwide, and Shang-Chi made 430 million. So that's 2 massively named characters who were around over 100 years on movies, and it made 20 grand or 200 grand more or something like that. Anyway, it's not as bad as they're making out.
No. I mean, it's because normally, and I think this is the issue, is before the pandemic, Marvel movies, 9 times out of 10, struck near that billion mark, right?
Not really, though, because it was only.
No, but I mean,
it was only after Avengers.
Well, yeah, but you were never an MCU movie was never like, you'd never hear of it like making like 150 worldwide. You know, it was up in the 800,000 and 900,000 mark, if not over the billion. You know what I mean? So they were always expecting that high numbers, but it's the design of the media and the industry at the moment. It's just not where it was 2 years ago.
And I think it'll come back as well, like, you know, because
I mean, the world has to pick itself back up and get back to normal.
Is going to make massive money, I think, anyway, personally.
Yes. Fuck me, I can't wait.
Shang-Chi, well, I said that no one really knows them. So yeah, you like them making the money they did make is pretty good, I think, in my opinion.
But I mean, Eternals though is Eternals seems to be the one that's getting savaged by the critics, is it? And
now I'm just going to read the comments and then I'll talk a little bit about Eternals, because I saw it the other day.
Just on what Jonathan was saying, I think they had gotten to a point with the IATSE strike that they had found kind of not a settlement, but just a way to do business together. But I think once that happened, then
when there's money involved, there'll never be a strike like that.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But I think once the whole shooting thing happened, then it riled them up a little more, and it's kind of it's getting worse as it goes now. It's an interesting thing, Jonathan. You should look it up online, man. There's a guy that covers it, John Campea. You ever heard of his show?
Oh, him, the guy that spoiled Spider-Man.
Oh, did he spoil Spider-Man?
He's the one that like released 2 pictures online the other day.
Oh shit! Okay. But
I'm not saying on here what they are.
But he's actually genuinely like he's on top of that IATSE thing. So if you want to kind of get the information, because I think himself and your man Rob that's on his show are kind of in the industry based anyway. So they're kind of, you know, Rob's a producer on the show, or not on the show, but in Hollywood. So, and there's a lot of insight to it. I mean, if that's your bag, if that's what you want to watch, like. But yeah, you
He
get to
does
find out a
spoil
lot more
comic
there.
book movies.
Connor struggled with Bond.
Yeah, it's very long, but I did enjoy it. I think fans of Bond will enjoy it, but it is very long. I will say that.
Brian, because I have the bladder of a fucking pea
You
tonight,
go.
I'm going to quickly fly to the bog because I have to piss really bad.
Go
I'll
on,
be 2
so
seconds, promise. I'll be 2 seconds.
I'll just read the comments. Jonathan said that was the other movie I was trying to think of. Halloween Kills did crazy numbers, and wasn't that streaming only on HBO? It was in cinemas worldwide as well, though. To be fair, and coming out around Halloween, everybody's going to go see that. Tubbs, you and Brian now need to now say we're not doctors. Lol, we're not doctors. Damien says, if they were to have The Mandalorian made into a series that can be shown at cinemas, I'd be first in the queue, or just do a super cut version. I like it the way it is on Disney Plus. It'd be pretty awesome to see it in the cinema, all right, but I like it the way it's done. Brian, don't forget those last MCU movies got a ton to make. Eternals cost more than Dune to make. For fuck's sake, Disney needs to look at what they're spending their money on. But it has topped the box office in the first 2 weeks it's been out as well. And I think it's made over 200 million back already. So it is doing well despite what the woke patrol tried to do on Rotten Tomatoes. John Campia, yeah, Damien. Be careful if you don't want to see Spider-Man spoilers. Also, Shang-Chi came out with zero competition in the cinema. All the rest had to compete with other big name films. Bond versus Halloween versus Dune versus Venom 2. They all made more money. Again, though, they're all bigger names, and they all had fan bases already. That Venom 2 movie, though, Christ, it was awful. So bad. So bad. And it was at a time where people weren't fully convinced about going back to the cinemas and stuff either. My other half included. I had to drag her to the cinema. So yeah, before Tubbs comes back, I'm going to just chat a little bit about Eternals. Yeah, it did get a lot of harsh criticism on the internet, and it did get a lot of people review bombing it before it even got out. I will say it's not your typical MCU film. Venom 2 is garbage. Honestly, surprised it did well. No, garbage has a distinct smell. Venom has nothing about it. And there's SpongeBob, Square Jaws. Fuck's sake, Tubbs. Ruin the vibe, man. But yeah, Eternals, it's not your everyday average movie. There's a lot of amazing shots in it. Like, without spoiling it, I can't even say it. There is a shot in it where where there's two people standing on a hill in a park, we'd say like New York Park or whatever, Central Park, whatever, and then this thing comes from space through the clouds and grabs them, and it's just the most amazing shot ever I've seen in a movie, I think, so far.
Since you don't want to spoil it, can you just give us like a hint? Does Angelina Jolie and Selma Hayek like scissor each other?
No.
Okay.
No. Sorry, Tubbs.
Well, I'm definitely not watching this movie now.
That's fair. But yeah, I can see where people wouldn't like it. The two post-credit scenes were very cool in showing what's coming. I know we've been talking about what's coming already, and there's certain characters in the post-credits that a lot of people will be really excited for, and a lot of people like it. And there is a character that someone said on my timeline, my Facebook timeline, why the fuck is that person in it? No wonder all the screaming girls were in the cinema. I think you may know this person too, Tubbs.
I do. Yeah, I didn't know, but it was in reference to. I had seen a picture online. I was like, "Oh, the fuck is that?" And then Brian clarified it for me. So I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, but like, yeah, that person that's been cast as the person suits them. Connor said, "I have not seen Venom 2 yet. Looking forward to it, despite the bad coverage it's got. I won't say any more about it." So.
Yeah, I mean, the first Venom got like fucking, like its share of fucking bitching as well. You know what I mean? And I still enjoyed it. You know, like look, don't get me wrong. I love Tom Hardy. I love him in movies.
He's not the problem with it though.
No, not at all. It's you know yourself.
It's the writing.
Yeah, and the fact that it's Venom, and you know what I mean. Like, I mean, I don't know, me personally, I don't know if everyone else in the comments yourself agrees with this, but if I had my way, my first viewing of Venom in live action would have been against Spider-Man.
And that turned out great the last time.
Yes, so I think we needed a redeemer on that one, but you know, but look, it is what it is, and we got a live action Venom that looks and feels like Venom.
I will say, like Jonathan said there, I have to call BS in the review bomb, and it had 401 stars and 810 stars all before the audience scores up, and critics slaughtered.
But how many times have we said this, Brian?
But I was going to say, like, I would watch Eternals 100 times before I'd be forced to watch Venom once, or Venom 2 once again.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, shit, you didn't like it, so I don't know.
No, I didn't like Venom 2. Like, I did like Eternals.
Yeah.
The one thing I would say about the Eternals is the villains are pointless. They're really, really pointless.
Now, I mean, obviously, do you know what I mean? Like you've had Thanos and I would go so far as to say Loki.
Thanos, as Jon Snow says.
Thanos. But that was like one thing I think at the beginning of the MCU, Marvel kind of were known for, like, just their weak villains. They did have a lot of weak villains in their movies at the beginning. Obviously, by the time they got to Thanos, it was kind of like, oh shit, there was a reason, you know. They fucked all these guys in front and built up to the big guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you always, I mean, you've seen it before in the MCU movies with the villains that aren't kind of like, a Thanos level villain. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Jonathan, I agree totally. I love Venom 1, but 2 was really bad. And this is coming from a huge Venom and Carnage fan. I'm a massive Carnage fan as well, and they did my boy dirty. They did my boy dirty. That's all I'm saying.
Oh man, because to be fair, I was fucking really looking forward to seeing Carnage.
It's like those 90s comic book movies where they were fun, they were okay, but they were shite.
At the core, they're not good. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
But yeah, like on Eternals, I would still watch it if you get a chance and make up your own mind. A lot of people find it boring. I didn't. I don't know. Yeah, and the blind girl, or the deaf girl, sorry, is very good in it. She's I
love her in The Walking Dead anyway, so you know.
Connor,
she's a good actress.
Call it a night. I'll catch the rest in the morning. Thanks all. Good night. Later, Connor. Have a good night, and we'll catch you in tomorrow. Bye. Woody was wasted in that movie. Yeah, 100%. But yeah. So let's move on from the Eternals. I really liked it. I would definitely watch it again. Post credits are awesome. Some of the characters are annoying. Some of them are great. And Tubbs there's a Man of Steel in there for you. And funny story, actually.
I did see that. You did say that to me. Now, correct me if wrong. Is that correct?
There's 2 DC references in this movie as well, which is really weird. I found really stood out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, there was some DC news that came out this week as well, man, from Variety. Like, it was actually the Hollywood Reporter in Variety that it looks. It hasn't been. They haven't confirmed it, but from what's been said, it looks like Henry Cavill is very much coming back.
I read his interview.
Yeah,
I read his interview. He wants to do another one, and he also wants to do Captain Britain as well. He said.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, and I liked how he phrased it, was that like he was saying, like, even about, like, you know, doing like the Black Superman, like, you know, it's comic movies. You know, you can. I mean, I think we've had this conversation about like how I feel about that whole concept, and I'm not on board. I'm not a fan of it at all. But yeah, I mean, if they, and I think, like, we'll briefly talk about it and we'll move on. But I think a lot of this has to do with The Rock and his kind of his contract and his pull that he now has with Warner Brothers. It won't be a Zack Snyder Superman, but It might very well
which
be
is
Black
no
Adam
bad thing.
versus Superman. I mean, don't get me wrong, man. I would love nothing more than to see them make Man of Steel 2, and 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 give Cavill a chance to play that Superman that is a lot more hopeful. Do you know what I mean? And not more, like the original Superman. That like, do you know what I mean? Because I mean, then from Man of Steel up to that, then you would have a progression and like a younger Superman becoming that Superman that everyone knows. That would be a cool thing to see. So I really do hope he gets to do the second movie.
Again, though, DC will like say, "Oh, that's a great movie you've got there. I wonder what did this. Ah, no, it looks like a."
That's the worry, but as I said, I'm
Excuse
hopeful
me.
that this Discovery move, this like Warner Media, like the DC brand, being under Discovery.
Like to be
I'm
fair,
hoping.
there was a perfect Justice League fight at the end of Eternals.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, they do seem like a Justice League kind of like even in the trailer it seemed very Justice League.
Like Icarus shoots things out of his eyes.
I heard that it did. I heard a few people tell me that like Icarus is very
he fights the
much.
Death Girl, the speedster, so it's like the Flash versus Superman.
Yeah, but I did hear that about Icarus. I heard that he was very much like the MCU's Man of Steel or something.
And he has the same amount of charisma as Superman as well, 0.
Okay, yeah.
But no, I've never liked Richard Madden though from Game of Thrones as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good enough actor, but I mean,
he's as wooden as my shed outside. But
okay,
yeah.
maybe.
But, Jonathan
maybe
said,
I'm going on with blinkers on that one.
Brian, do you think the big bad of Eternals has messed up Galactus being a valid threat in the MCU? Now they are very similar, the villains to Galactus. Now they're Celestials, but Galactus isn't a Celestial though, is he? Now I do think they're very similar, so. But I don't know. I don't. Mick says yes.
He's like the eater of worlds, like so.
But like they're like even the head and stuff that's in the film is very similar to Galactus. I don't know. So see what they do.
Yeah.
For me, it showed. For me, it showed that when they do decide to do him, they will be able to do him right. Not that he's completely replaced. So.
But I mean, I think. I mean, as I said again, I don't work for Marvel. I don't work for Disney. But from what it seems like, I don't even think Galactus is like the Thanos level threat in this phase. I think it's Kang, isn't it?
Yeah, that's.
I think they're building to that. So I mean, they have to get to that before they even get to Galactus. Like,
DCU just needs to reboot with same actors but better writers, as the actors are perfect for the big three. Yeah, I said that before.
No, I agree. I mean, and I think given like Andy Muschietti, like with the Flash, she seems to be kind of like following on what they've done. But obviously,
enough, he's one I would recast as the Flash.
Oh, Ezra Miller, yeah. But I mean,
Ezra likes the Chuck girls.
No, but what I mean about Andy Muschietti, and Andy Muschietti is like a very capable writer and director. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean. So like I mean, I do. I mean, I'd love to see like Momoa come back. I'd love to see and I mean they're all this is it. They're all still there. Like and Affleck is even coming back. So it seems to be that they are moving in that direction to keep them. But obviously,
Affleck is very flaky, though, isn't he? He decides to come and go when he chooses. Like,
yeah, I mean, but see, look, I mean, I think when Affleck is not like not to fucking get like stuck into his like real life problems, but I think in and around that time with all the weed and shit and all the bullshit that was going on on the set of that Justice League movie, and he was fucking dealing with like a drinking problem and all that. I think there was a lot of fucking factors that fucking took him out of the game then. But now he seems to be like, even seeing him in interviews and things, like he seems to be a lot more like happier about coming back. Like he seemed to have enjoyed his time on the Flash.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I loved the Justice League and I like the DCU stuff. But Ezra Miller, I mean, I could personally take him or leave him as the Flash. I mean, I would have loved if they got the CW guy, Grant Gustin. To come on and do it. He's a very good Flash, you know what I mean? But again, in a CW show where it has very kind of choppy fucking writers and so on. But yeah, Ezra is Like, I know the Flash is could be
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck,
He is
but
sort of flaky.
but I know Ezra is like or like the Flash can be like eccentric and that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, but the
Character
actor can
wise.
get the fuck.
But Ezra Miller is one. It seems to be. He reminds me of one of those kind of characters that like are actors that's like eccentric, but it's an act. He's acting eccentric. He's not actually that way.
What they call an asshole. Yeah.
Oh, to answer Damien's question here, if they were to do Man of Steel 2, ideally, and I've said this 100 times, I would have loved if they had like eventually built it up and built to the death of Superman and the return of Superman within 2 movies. That was my like vision of it. I was like, I hope it gets to this, because that way, do you know the way they're doing the Black Superman and everything now? Then you could have spun off into different directions, because when Superman dies, for anyone that doesn't know the comic, 4 Supermen show up. You know, and then he comes back and he's wearing the black suit and the whole lot. But obviously we didn't get it that way. But if I wanted to pick a villain for the Man of Steel 2 movie, genuinely would be a toss-up between Metallo or Brainiac.
Yeah, Brainiac would seem to be the next.
If I was to get my pick, like if I wanted, I was given like who would you want in this movie and we'll make it, then I go Doomsday, 100% Doomsday. But obviously
the real Doomsday.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Because like yeah, like Joe, but even just that comic, if they brought that entire comic book to life, I know they did kind of a section of it in Batman versus Superman. But if they did the entire thing in live action and that was the threat, fuck me, that would be awesome. But Bizarro, oh fuck me, good call, Damien, man. Yeah, Bizarro would be fucking amazing as well. So, but I think if they were going to do it, I reckon it's going to be Brainiac.
Before we move on to the Disney Plus stuff, Jonathan says Joss Whedon gets too much flack for Justice League. He was given a 4-hour shitty script and told to make a 2.5-hour movie. Like, what the fuck could he have really done? And I will add to that, Jonathan, that he came onto the project when it was halfway done already. And DC Warner Brothers wanted to do the Marvel thing with it as well. So,
but I mean, if you look back at the Justice League that came out in 2017, and you look at the Zack Snyder one that came out later, like, there's 85% of that movie is completely different. So the studio obviously had him reshoot a ton of shit and do it differently and everything else. So yeah, I mean, Whedon, it's been fucking said Whedon's a prick and he acted the prick on that fucking shoot. But it's the Warner execs, it's the producers. You saw it on Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I blame them as well. Like
Marvel doesn't have that because they trust their filmmakers.
Could I throw out a scenario here for you, right?
Yeah, go on.
Zack Snyder had his problems or whatever. That's fine. That's horrible. Like, and he had to take a break. So, like, for me, the Warner Brothers executives hire his name Whedon or whatever, and then saw a chance to Snyder's gone. Let's mold this into a Marvel like thing.
This is what, and you have to look at it as their level of thinking was like, he directed Avengers, so he can turn this into like a. Yeah, and you said it when the trailer came out. I remember when the first trailer for that movie came out, and you even texted me and said, I was like, DC are trying to make a Marvel movie.
Because I remember saying to you, because the Flash turns around.
And you weren't wrong.
What's your special power? And your man Affleck goes, I'm rich. I'm like, he's trying to make him into Tony Stark.
But that's what it was, man. I think that's what happened with it. Was just like once Snyder came off that project and Whedon stepped in, and the producers and Whedon kind of were working together on whatever way it worked. And they did try and turn it into an MCU movie, because
it just didn't work with those characters. It worked
because I mean, like, man, anyone knows that, you know, like Batman and Tony Stark are very similar characters in a lot of ways, but they're very, very different as well. You know what I mean?
Batman's a lot.
No, but with
Iron Man can be very dark as well, but it's just the way they had that had done him in the
But the
MCU thus
DC,
far.
like, I mean, I know Superman, people always say this to me. It's like, no, Superman's very bright, and there's a lot of dark shit in Superman. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of dark story arcs in Superman. DC is a darker brand. Do you know what I mean? It always has been.
It's just like, I think the problem and will always be with the Justice League is they got to it too fast. There was no foundation.
That was always the issue.
That's
that was
the main
always
problem
the issue.
there, I
Like,
think.
I mean, if they were, I mean, realistically, look, I was always kind of, I don't really want them to do what Marvel did because I want DC to be its own thing. But I think when they tried to start copying Marvel, they should have, when they decided, we're going to try and do the Marvel thing, then they should have done Man of Steel, Wonder Woman, Batman, Flash, Aquaman, all individual movies, then met on a big Justice League. Not do Man of Steel.
They rushed for the money.
Because realistically, it didn't. I mean, look, because I don't think you're ever going to get Justice League 2 and 3 now to finish that arc. So it ended up becoming a trilogy. You know, those
like as Jonathan said, first Avengers was a cracking movie, and that's because he built on a tone. He built on a tone that was already there.
Man. You had each character that was introduced and everything connected. You know.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't want to put in the effort to make the individuals movies. But yeah, so speaking of putting in effort,
I'm still delighted we got Man of Steel because it's still fucking love
it. So we had our Disney Plus day on Friday. And a lot of people were left disappointed because there was lots of people expected trailers for stuff like Obi-Wan, and what we got were mostly like sizzle reels. We got a sizzle reel for Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk.
I did see a comment online the other day that it was like saying it's like Disney Plus Day was Disney Plus Day was basically Marvel's DC fandom. It just made me laugh. I was like, yeah, there was a lot of like letdown moments.
I did. What I found interesting about the Disney Plus thing.
No, but what I mean by that is like, you know, when you were expecting a trailer and you got them to like, here's a picture. You know, it was like, you know, I remember when we were talking about Batwoman. It was like, Batgirl. It was like, we haven't started the movie yet, but this is what we reckon it's going to be. You know.
Yeah, but you didn't have to sit. You didn't have to sit through hours of people talking shite.
Look, that is like the only thing that was very different about it. But announcement wise, yeah, go.
What I did find interesting was, you know, usually like with these things, everything goes straight onto YouTube, but no, you actually had to go onto Disney Plus to watch it.
You did, yes, yeah. They had an entire
I thought it was
section.
very clever marketing thing because they did offer a month for like €2 or something, didn't they?
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
So I wonder did they get many new subscribers out of that? I bet you they did.
Yeah,
they dropped Shang-Chi and Jungle Cruise as well. Yes, or Friday.
But like €2, man, you check out like a month's worth of fucking Disney content. It's not a bad fucking deal, like.
Damien said Man of Steel was on UK TV last night. Great watch, ITV.
I fucking love it, Damien, dude. It's like nothing will ever like nobody can, and Brian the lads all it's a running joke. Like they always rip the piss out of me for it, but I've never wavered, have I, Brian?
No.
I love
it. Jonathan said there should have been trailers for Andor and the Obi-Wan series. Now maybe they're not ready. That's obviously the only reason. Like they got Ewan McGregor out there chatting for a minute about it.
Like, you know, I mean, and that's my issue. And it's the same. I say it again about this DC fandom is certain things that were like talked about on that as well. Is if they're not ready, they don't. I mean, because all you're doing is raising expectations of like, oh, they're going to show something, and then they go like, they have Ewan McGregor talking, going like, oh yeah, but like, you know, we might see a little someone back in the thing, and then they show a photo or like an art, and people are going to go, I wanted a trailer. So your expectations go down, you know?
I think that's the problem nowadays. There's so much pressure as well. We're like, oh my God, there's a trailer going to happen. If it doesn't happen, so there's a fucking...
So like, why not like just like remove that factor out and just go like, all right, like just show the stuff you have. You know what I mean? Like this is the stuff. There's a trailer for this. No, but like I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I mean, I was delighted to see Ewan McGregor talk about the fucking thing and to see kind of some and hear some bits of information. Because I'm going, oh, that sounds cool. But I do know from talking to other people, like people like thought there was a trailer, so like when they saw that, they're like, I don't care, that's fucking stupid. Do you know what I mean? It kind of their expectations were kind of lowered because they didn't, as you said, they didn't get the thing that they felt they were promised, even though they were never promised it. You know,
the sense of entitlement. That's the word I
it
was saying. I was
it
looking
is
for.
so much, man.
Jonathan said kind of bummed the whole Secret Invasion stuff as a TV series and not built up via movies and ending as an Infinity War style thing. Now, I agree with you. One of the first graphic novels I read when I really, really fully got back into collecting was Secret Invasion by Michael Bendis. I think it was after Civil War. And I absolutely loved it. It was one of my favorite books. And yeah, it's sort of disappointing that they're only doing it as a TV show. But that's all we know. That's all we know so far. Maybe that could be the inciting incident or something. You know, I don't know. If it is only a TV show, I'd be disappointed as well.
Like maybe by the time all of these things come out, maybe they'll actually start really, really using the shows to connect the movies better. You know, because they haven't really done. It hasn't really been done. Like it just, I don't know. It's weird. Did you find that with the first level, first run of shows they did? It was just like when they got to the end of the show, you were kind of going, like, where does this go? What does this connect to? Because I felt Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that's the only one I was going to say is the only one I was.
Yeah, like WandaVision. No, but like WandaVision, you knew where that was going. But it's still, I don't know. It still left more questions than answers.
No, I think Wanda will be the big villain going into Doctor Strange.
And I fucking hope so. Like, I mean,
and it's Loki as well. It was a phenomenal show.
I think we said this before. Like, I would have been totally okay with Wanda being the villain of the next phase.
Who's to say she's not?
Yes, do you know what I mean? This is
the thing. Like, it's still in phase 1 of the new arc, we'll say. So there is so much up in the air. We don't. Like a lot of the we don't know. Yes.
No, you're right, man. Because it's weird as well because it feels like forever ago that Endgame came out. And because of the pandemic and all the pushbacks and all the stuff, and it feels like we haven't gotten, even though we have really gotten a chunk of stuff this year, it still feels like we're nowhere closer to finding out kind of like the direction yet. Do you know?
And that's fine too, to be honest. Like,
look, come here. If you go back and watch like the first Iron Man, do you know? Did you think 10, 12 years later you'd be like fucking at Endgame? No.
Well, your man come in, Samuel L. Jackson come in and said, I want to talk about the Avenger Initiative. You knew what it was about.
Yeah, no, I know.
You knew the Avengers, but you weren't sure exactly where it was.
Yeah, but that's what I mean, is you knew, like, oh man, they're doing the Avengers, but never did you think it was going to get to where it got to. So, I mean, this could be very much that as well as it could be. But I mean, as I said, this goes back to what I was saying a while ago about the pandemic and kind of shit being pushed back and schedules kind of being shoved into another year.
Jonathan was saying there about stuff being pushed back. The rumor I've seen floating about is that now movies are all back in production. All the GFX studios are getting hammered trying to turn out CGI effects and everything. Yeah, it probably is true because
now. Do you think that is why Marvel moved most of their slate back to like the end of 2022 into 2023?
That's probably part of it.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably part of it.
That's a good call, John.
They did a great casting with Michael Shannon and Zod.
Yeah,
he's excellent.
Yeah, he was fantastic, man. And he was one of those. He was one of those villains that, like we've said it before, the best villains are the ones that believe they're doing the right thing. Do you know, in the acts that they're doing, and he was perfect for that.
Jonathan said, Brian, it's the Nick Fury TV show. Well, you're one, Olivia Colman, the award-winning or Oscar-winning actress, is in it, and the girl from Game of Thrones, Emilia Clarke, is in Secret Invasion as well. And of course, it'll probably have the Captain Marvels or some of the Marvels in it as well, because he's best buddies with her. So yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it either way.
Did you see the pictures of him that were leaked online?
All beardy and stuff.
With the old man, Nick Fury. Yeah.
Oh, that was shown as part of the Disney Plus stuff on Friday. That was in the sizzle reel that was on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Jonathan said, agreed, Tubbs. All the shows so far felt more like a build-up to a movie down the line rather than their own thing. But WandaVision did have a finish, though. She did let the people go in the end and what have you. And
yeah, what I think I was trying to say about him was, it's like, do you know the way each movie, like each Marvel movie, like bleeds into
has a
the next.
story, but there has
There's there's a connection. They all bleed. The TV shows don't. It seems like the TV shows, they don't seem to bleed into the next movie, like all the movies did in the first three, like in the first saga. Do you know what I think? I mean, they should be using these shows to like build, like the lesser, once the lesser characters, but the smaller characters into the story. Do you know, like and shit that happens, like shit that
there's
happened
so
in
many
Wanda.
more movies now as well.
Like Wanda and Loki seem to be the only two shows so far that connect. Do you know, to like that whole multiverse thing that's happening. But that seems to be by design, that they're only connected to that, if that makes sense. Like those two seem to be connected towards that direction, but Captain America, or not Captain America, Winter Soldier and Falcon don't even seem like it's like acknowledges what's happening on both those shows.
But like there's a scene, like, no, see, if you watch Black Widow and Captain America and the Winter Soldier, or whatever it's called, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it's like they're building a team through those shows as well.
Okay, well, I mean, look, if that is the case, then that's fine. They're using those shows to build like the new Avengers in the background. That's fine. But for me, watching the shows, I love her.
She's not great, to be fair. Like,
but no, but what I mean by it is it's just a thing of like I feel that it would be better if they used the shows to catapult like smaller characters into the bigger movies.
I think they are going to though. It's just there's so many more extra stuff now. Like,
yeah, but I mean, like maybe it is, because it seems to be like Hawkeye. I'm assuming Hawkeye's going to do that.
Yeah, Hawkeye, you'll have Kate Bishop in it as well, like young Hawkeye. Well, sort of. By the way, if Michael Shannon is ever contracted by Marvel, I can see him as Tombstone, Hammerhead, or the next Rhino. Oh, I'd love him to be Norman Osborn, actually.
Gee, he would be good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But by Captain America, we knew it was leading up to Thanos, which is 3 movies in. Captain America was the 4th movie, and it just had the Cosmic Cube, and that it wasn't until Avengers we saw Thanos, which was the last movie in Phase 1, I think. Yeah, because Captain America was before Avengers.
Yeah, but I think what John means is like you knew by the Captain America movie that they were building to that. Do you know what the cube?
I'll be honest, I had no idea.
Loki,
I know
and everything, like
the Cosmic Cube isn't connected to the Infinity Gems in the comics, like.
No. I mean, but in the movie arc, like in the movie storyline, because you had already had like fucking Loki with the fucking the
staff.
With the staff with the same stone and everything. So I think the building blocks were there. This is what I think John means, is like you in the earlier stages, the building blocks were being placed each movie. But with the shows, the building blocks, they seem to be disconnected in a lot of ways.
He just said there we had hints. It was Infinity Stones.
Yeah,
I suppose.
But I also agree with you, Brian. But I do agree with you as well that
I think there's so many different threads now. Before there was only 4
but I think there's so many things in the pipeline, like so many things that have been pushed back or we're waiting on, that probably open up the gates. Like we said it after Loki, like Wanda and Loki, by the time it gets past like No Way Home and into Doctor Strange 2, like that would be probably the one that like breaks the entire thing open. Do you know what I mean? And then you'll probably be like, we'll probably find out who's going to be the Thanos level threat then, you know? So then the shows will probably be bleeding into that.
And it says all these smaller characters from comic books that have failed time and time again. Yeah, but we'll see. So, like, let's just go through the stuff that was
hit me with it, Brian.
Revealed. That's the word I was looking for. So we talked about Secret Invasion. There's I Am Groot, an animated series, which would be funny. I think it'd probably be more for kids, obviously.
We'll still watch it, though.
Of course. But the one that surprised me was Agatha House of Harkness.
Yeah, I mean, but we did hear that a while back that she was getting her own show.
I reckon it'll probably be a prequel series, I would say.
Do you think so? Yeah.
Unless now she gets freed in WandaVision or Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness or something. It's an interesting one. I thought she was a cool character, but did we really need a TV show about her? I don't know.
But I think what it was is because, and even in WandaVision, obviously, like, you know,
there's a smaller character now as well.
But yeah, but there you go. So she is now, like, I mean, but I think her popularity got her the show. Like, because yeah, she played her. Yeah, Catherine Hahn, she played her fantastically. Like, I mean, obviously they probably had this in the pipeline for whoever was going to play her anyway. They probably, because let's be honest, Marvel don't make WandaVision and don't know where they're going. You know, they have a roadmap. Like, we know this. But I mean, it's interesting that she's getting. But good call on that. I mean, it could possibly be a prequel show.
Like,
you know,
yeah, it'd be interesting, like, because the bit we saw at the start of the last episode, I think, where she like destroyed all the other witches back in the Salem witch trials, that was pretty cool.
But the only thing I'll say though, outside of Black Widow being a prequel, all of the MCU stuff it never seems to go backwards. It always seems to be moving forward. Like in story.
They've often gone back and looked at stuff though.
No, like, but I mean, like, they have in movies, but like the core concept has always been moving forward. Do you know, like getting to a forward villain or a forward or anything. You know what I mean?
See what to do. Like, I don't know what.
But then again, this is new territory with these shows and stuff. So they could very well do it that way.
Yeah, because I agree with you, Jonathan. That's what I've been saying as well. It's a big good file to main character, but on her own. Yeah, it depends what context to do this in. But
do you think that that's what these shows are? But do you think that that's genuinely what these shows are? Is just giving those? Well, I hate saying smaller characters because, like, Wanda and Loki for me aren't smaller characters.
They're not the tentpole characters. Let's be honest.
Well, I mean, for me, they are now.
They are, but they're not Thor. They're not Iron Man. They're not Spider-Man, etc.
Yeah.
Like,
but I mean, so
they're not the big cultural character, like.
But they're not the. But to be fair, when you look back at it, and this is the mad thing about before the MCU, can you honestly say, if you talked Marvel before the MCU started, that you would have talked Captain America, Thor, fucking Iron Man as the tentpole characters of Marvel?
Well, they kind of always were, but Marvel was always like, DC was always the bigger brand.
Yeah, no, but what I mean is,
you had Spider-Man and the X-Men.
But when you were growing up, when you thought of Marvel, like, did your head go straight to like Captain America, Thor? Mine would always go to like Spider-Man and the X-Men. Do you know what I mean?
Spider-Man and the X-Men were the main TV ones, but
Blade
in the Marvel universe.
But it was the MCU that made these characters.
For more casual people, definitely.
Oh man, like, you look at it now, like 2021, like these characters are top.
Oh, they are now, yeah, they're massive characters, and Deadpool as well. Sure.
Which is great. It's great for the overall thing. But so I mean, so these shows might be just that. It might be these shows to build these smaller characters to eventually get them to that level, like, you know.
But then you have What If and Loki were both renewed for season 2s as well.
Yeah.
I hope they do what you were saying about What If in the next season and just not follow on from the one they did. I'd like to see more like What Ifs in the actual
break it up and kind
universe.
Of like, because like even when we were like looking over each episode every week on the show and stuff, and like I mean, it's, you know, everyone that kind of listens to us knows we didn't love every episode of it. Do you know what I mean? There was
as a whole, I definitely enjoyed it.
Oh no, I enjoyed the whole season. But it's bad when you're sitting here like designing better storylines for the What If scenario, you know, than the one you got. So I do think that there's like a lot more. There's definitely a lot more. Like, there's so many characters there, but I think I hope they don't pigeonhole themselves into like just doing What Ifs of the movies. You know what I mean?
I think that's what they've always said they were going to do. It's What Ifs of the MCU, and that's it.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, like, they could still do the MCU, but like not stick in the vein of, because it seems like in season 1 is they were doing like outside of like the Marvel zombies and things like that, but like, you know, like Captain Britain. Then it was like it's like they recreated.
But I think they want to keep those. I think they want to keep those for the big big screen, we'll say. That's why, like, they were asked about an X-Men one. They're like, maybe.
Okay.
But then, of course, you have the animated series, which we'll talk about in a bit.
Yes.
But, Jonathan said there, Iron Man, yes, Cap, maybe during World War II, but hell no, Thor for a superhero movie, lol.
And this
But
is
to
the
me,
fucked up thing.
when I was reading comics
What?
in the early to mid 90s, it was those three, Ant-Man as well, maybe, who were the big heroes that I knew
But
outside
like,
of X-Men and Spider-Man.
but like Ant-Man was one of those like heroes that, like, I mean, I'd heard of him, but I'd never read a comic book of Ant-Man. And then I saw him in the movies, and I was kind of going, he's fucking class. You know what I mean? It was the same with Guardians. Like, I told you this. I knew of the Guardians, but I'd never read a comic. But then I loved the fucking movie. And the crazy thing about it is I used to always make this joke when we were growing up that for me, that like back, you know, in comics, this was like obviously before MCU and all that kind of stuff, you know. It was just comic books like that Thor was Marvel's Aquaman. Like, he was always like, you know, like the shittiest member of the team. You know, that's why I used to always look at it, because I never liked Thor. Like, I was never a massive Thor comics fan. But then when the MCU came out, and I told you this, the first Thor movie is one of my favorite movies from the first phase of the MCU. Outside of obviously Iron Man and Avengers, but I loved the first Thor movie. I was blown away with how much I loved Thor, and then now I fucking love Thor. He's one of my favorite characters. So but that just goes to show the power that the MCU created past Iron Man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It became a real important thing.
But John just said season 2 has been pretty much known to be gore since mid-season 1. I prefer to see each episode of season 2 being its own thing. Yes, 100% agree with that. Rather than building up to its own in-game style thing, better options for storytelling. I agree.
But I mean,
one shots. What if one shots? That's literally.
But season 1 really kind of built up to its own in-game scenario.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. Like,
you know,
and also to me, like, Silver Surfer would have been a bigger name than all those as well, and that's not been done in the MCU.
Oh yeah, you really can't wait till he comes like to the MCU, can you?
Yeah. Thor and the Marvel Cosmic stuff was pretty hard to imagine being done on the big screen, to be fair. Yeah, like. So what else did we have? We had Armor Wars. We knew about that already as well. That's going to be like War Machine and stuff, and that could be interesting. But again, without Tony, I know he wasn't really in it in the comics years ago as well. It was Armor Wars was when Tony was off on the booze, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. Then they announced Prey coming out on Hulu, which is a new Predator movie.
Yes.
That looks really interesting.
It's a prequel movie.
He's appearing in the time of the Comanches.
So yeah, but it's a prequel story, like.
Oh yeah, it's set years in the past. Like, have we got a cameo? Hi, Grace.
Hi, Brian.
See, I know her presence now. Like,
I know he knows. Like.
But laters. And we also have, of course, Marvel Zombies getting its own animated series.
Now, when I heard that one, I was kind of going, I'm so fucking down for that. Like, because we said this like when we were watching the What If show that they're like, oh man, I hope they fucking. But didn't you know, like when we were saying, oh, I hope they do something with this. This would be so cool if this was just its own show. But in the back of your head, you're going to be like, there's no fucking way they're going to make that into an actual show. And then they just drop it. Like, they're like, here, have it.
I think the reception they got for it, though, was massive.
Yeah.
I see people kicking off the Prey movie is ripped off from an old fan-made thing. Yeah, I've seen that as well. Someone made that story years ago. A fan-made film. Tubbs, that was my issue season 1. Carter and Marvel Zombies. I love the press. It was pretty meh. Mikey, is that Father Johnny? Hello, Mr. Casey.
It's the story. It's the fucking dream, but.
Who else? What other movies do we have? Or short films? We had short films. See now what you've done to me, Casey. Spider-Man freshman year. Now that you're here, Mikey, a new animated series, prequel series based on Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
I never heard of this. Was this released the same day?
Is this new? You're only hearing about this now?
I didn't hear about this one.
Yeah, so they're doing an animated Spider-Man show based on before, like, I think it's before he meets Iron Man. So
Wow.
we
Okay.
for,
So, is this based on like showing him how he became Spider-Man?
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Spider-Man freshman year, it's called, and
That's
that
fucking cool.
that could go one of several ways. It could be really good, or it could be
Now,
fucking
is
awful.
Tom Holland voicing him?
I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say so. No, he might be. He might be. I don't
Like
know.
that should be in their contract, shouldn't it? Like when we're making like MCU related, like
nah.
you know. And what is it?
That's
Like it's 2
too
days
much
in the
money.
fucking studio recording lines.
Anyone can do a similar voice. Like Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes was a fantastic
But
show,
to
and
be fair,
the
that
guy
was
was
like
basically ripping off Tony Stark in it.
yeah, but you could tell straight away in the what if shows like the characters that weren't voiced by you know the MCU actors. You could like it stood out like a sore thumb. Like
Maybe Brie Larson should voice him.
oh god, I'm so glad she didn't voice anything.
Jonathan says She-Hulk, no love, lads. Yeah, I was
Oh man,
there's
Jonathan,
they
man.
did 3 like sizzle reel ones. They showed Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, and Moon Knight, and my fucking god, I cannot wait for Moon Knight. It looks so
Yeah,
good.
like you were like that for Moon Knight because you
I
fucking
love
like
Moon Knight for
you had
years.
said that to me when it was announced. But I had said it to you about She-Hulk the minute they cast Tatiana Maslany. I was
And
like,
she's
I'm
from Orphan Black or something, is it?
I fucking watched all 5 seasons of that shit, man. She's such a talented actress. But the minute they cast her, I was like, I'm so on board for this. Like, but then I didn't realize that like Ruffalo was in it and everything. Like,
And possibly Daredevil.
yeah, do you know what I mean?
And,
so there's a lot more.
Is it Titania? Titania is the villain in it, I think, as well.
Is it?
Titania. Yeah.
Okay.
So that
But
could be
no, but I
interesting.
mean, and did you see they did a little fourth wall break? Basically, it was based on fourth wall break in the original TV show.
Yeah, it looks fucking
With the way they
class, man.
designed it with the suits and everything, with the costumes and all that, I thought it was pretty cool. Like, but yeah, I'm really down for that, John.
Like it didn't show her full on, but it kind of showed her from the back, almost up to the head, and it looked really, really cool.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, like as I said, this goes back to what we were saying about Obi-Wan and Joe. Like, it would have been brilliant if they had a trailer. But,
Yeah, definitely.
You know, but you know, what I mean, like, I'm on board with that. Like, I mean, sometimes it's just the casting involved gets you charged up for it. But so I'm fucking I'm all in on that one, man.
And Jonathan said, I'm kind of bored at young Spider-Man shows at this stage. Yeah, I'd like to see an adult Spider-Man for a change now.
To be fair, what I would like to see them do is do what they're doing with the X-Men and just continue the 90s fucking
animated
cartoon.
series Spider-Man, yeah.
With that same animation.
Search for Mary Jane.
Yeah, did you hear Kirsten Dunst is actually fucking was interviewed as well the other day?
Yeah, but her comments were not in comments really like.
Well,
like, he'd have spider babies now.
Yeah, but it was like she was kind of going like, yeah, well, like, you know, if the old Joe Mary Jane was to come back, I'd be so open to play it. And then I was kind of going, I was like, is that just literally because, like, I mean, and then we've also heard the rumors that like Sam Raimi's contract. Did you hear this, by the way? Apparently, like with Sam Raimi's contract coming in to do Doctor Strange in the Multiverse, was also to one of the terms was to revisit Spider-Man 4.
Oh, please no.
So to continue that Tobey Maguire universe.
But would his contract not be with Marvel Studios because he's doing Doctor Strange, not Sony?
Yeah, but that was probably like so they're working with the Spider-Man crossovers and all that kind of stuff. So maybe that was in the contract. I don't know. But that's what I was reading anyway. So I mean, that for me, I was interested because I was kind of going like, that.
No more Toby. Moon Knight looks
well,
great.
Then again, we have to see what happens with this one.
What the fuck was with that weedy voice sounding dude doing the voiceover? That's probably one of his split personalities. Because Moon Knight is a massive problem that he has several personalities inside his head.
Yeah, so he's a crazy cut. Like,
he's a bit of a schizo.
To be fair, he's more villain than hero. Like,
he's like anti-hero.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. He doesn't. He's not like a Captain America. Do you know what I mean? He's more. No, he's more Punishery.
He gets dirty.
Yeah, he's more Punishery. He's right. He's in that middle vein of like what's right and wrong.
Dunst fishing for some of that Disney MCU paycheck, I reckon. Yeah,
Well, I mean,
that's
she
a
very much could be
good
like.
point. Yeah, like she hasn't been in anything in a while either, actually. To be fair.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, like go back a few years ago, like the boys met her at fucking Cannes.
Mm.
She was just swanning around Cannes. You know what I mean? Like, so like, but she hasn't been in anything. I do agree with you. She hasn't been in anything crazy big
No.
in a while.
So, like, let's end this with what we started talking about before we went online. So,
Actually, should we briefly talk about the X-Men cartoon?
fuck it, I knew it. I was leaving it to the last for a reason. X-Men 97, they're restarting the animated series.
Now,
From
can
was
you
it
clarify
97
this
when
for
it
me?
finished? I can try.
Yes, because it actually says on the poster thing for it, it's like X-Men 97. But is this a straight continuation from that cartoon? With like, are they
Yes.
going to be doing? But is this going to be done like in the same animation style? The whole lot.
Well, it's some of the cast is coming back. Obviously, not all because they're not alive anymore. They're the I think the animation director is the same one who did What If. So I'm not sure. I'm sure it'll be like.
So do you reckon
updated.
it'll look like What If, or do you think it'll look closer to the 90s?
I think it'll be an amalgamation of both. If
Okay.
I'm honest. But
because that was, I mean, because when they announced that they were coming out with the Cape Crusader, which is like literally like like continuing the animated TV show, Batman the animated TV show, but in like a obviously modernized way or whatever. The animation style is like slightly different than things like so. Do you know yourself when like you always hope that they kind of go back to as close as that.
Yeah,
Obviously, you want
and
the
like
animation.
they still hold up like those 90s
They
animated
fucking
shows.
do, man. They do. They still hold up well. Now, obviously, like when I say that, it's like you want them to be, they're going to be HD. You know, it's going to be fucking brighter and a lot more fucking produced. But draw them the way they look.
What Jonathan said there, 90s design and a What If animation style.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Is like at least make them look like they looked in that cartoon. Don't make them like I hate when they do that. Like because He-Man is a perfect example of this, and I really did dig it. But you could see that they changed the animation style. Do you know what I mean? They still look.
He-Man is a lot more further back in the 80s. That did age a good bit.
But you needed to upgrade that. But I mean, for me, it's like I mean, as long as they're in the same costumes and they look like they did in the cartoon, I'll polish it up all you want. But just give me that. Give me those.
Yeah,
X-Men.
we said it here. We talked about it here last week. It was rumored, and it was confirmed out the gate, which is really, really cool.
Just fucking awesome. So my point is what we were saying a while ago. Then why can't they do the same for the fucking Spider-Man cartoon?
And maybe they will. Maybe they will.
I'd love to see it continue, man. Because
like I'd love to see Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes continued as well, and that's only in 2013.
Well,
that was one of my favorite
Spider-Man cartoon.
shows.
But if you can remember, like there was no definitive ending to that cartoon.
The Spider-Man one. Yeah, Mary Jane went missing, didn't she?
Yeah, but it never like it didn't end on like him standing on like the top of a building and then just swinging off into the city, something like that.
No, so she became. Didn't Hydra Man try to make her his bride or something, and then she disappeared?
Yeah, I mean, I can't even remember what the last episode was. It's been so long.
And then he took Stan Lee for a spin around the city in his web.
Yes, but there was no, like as I said, but there was no definitive ending to it.
No.
So you could easily take that from where that stopped and continue it directly on. You know. So, but the X-Men was the same though, wasn't it?
I think there I don't remember that as well now, but I know there was a cliffhanger in the end of that as well.
If anyone knows,
even like what was the one around the same time as Avengers? Wolverine and the X-Men. That ended on a fucking cliffhanger as well, where you had the Age of Apocalypse starting in season 2, and then they cancelled it. The fuckers. But
there's so many directions you could go with it that haven't been done. But as I said, I mean, I'll just be happy as if they look like do you know that like that, and I really, really want that opening credit scene to be the same. Same music, just the same design, the whole lot. Because that's what made it nostalgic. If they change the music and change how it looks in the opening credits, that's
I think they know that though.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be very based in nostalgia.
Jonathan was just saying there he'd love to see Toby back with
Yeah.
Kirsten Dunst in Spider-Man 4.
I'll try and figure out. I'll try and find the link to where I was reading it, and send it on to
you. Back in the day.
But that's what I was reading about anyway. It's like apparently that was like Sam Raimi's kind of door in to continue like his Spider-Man franchise.
He says it's kind of funny Disney now bringing all the shows back to Ken the moment they took over Marvel and Star Wars. First Clone Wars, now Spider-Man and Avengers. Yeah, well, hopefully they bring back Spider-Man as well. But let's see what they do with this X-Men one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Black Panther 2.
Yes.
So production has stalled until 2022 because Letitia Wright suffered an injury on set, and she's now back in the UK and can't come back to America because she refuses to take the vaccine, and you have to be double jabbed or whatever the fuck it is to get back in America. There's a mandate or whatever. And a lot of people have been saying online, I've seen like a lot of hate for her, that she's anti-vax and she's anti-trans as well, apparently.
I said to you,
why don't you just recast?
That's as you've seen from previous experience and stuff like this. That's not a bag that Disney likes to play with.
Well, yeah, you're obviously talking about Gina Carano and all her anti.
Oh yeah. The minute they'd rather like just get rid of than have to deal with it.
Well, like that is their way of dealing with it, though. To be fair.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Is to just get rid of it there, so we don't have, so there's no backlash on us.
I'm not going to talk too much about this because everybody has their own opinion on it, and I'm not going to fight someone up for their opinion. But like, I just find it ironic that the person who is in the MCU, supposed to be like the most genius character, is the most fucking idiotic in real life.
Yeah,
I'd all be for.
But that's what makes them good actors, man. You know,
yeah.
They can completely, disconnect from who they are as a person.
You can't pretend to be stupid, is this?
Because I'm really a sheep, like, you know what I mean? I'm really like, I got like wool on me and shit.
All right, you're one of those.
No,
so
but
like, what do you guys think? Do you think they should recast her?
I mean, like I'm
if
always
holding the production up for that long.
Yeah, but I mean, me personally, I'm always of the opinion that if you're building something like this, try your hardest not to recast unless someone like passes away or no longer does the job. Do you know what I mean? Unless it's avoidable. But in situations like this, do you know what I mean? If someone's been a prick and going like, I mean, and look, and I'm not saying she's been a prick for not getting vaccinated, because look, as you said before, everyone has their opinion and everyone has their views on it, and you can't really give out to someone for it either, because everyone has their reasons and their whys and hows about these things. But what I mean about it is that, but if it's pushing it back and it's making it an uncomfortable and kind of awkward scenario, then like, I mean, if you're put in a position where you have no choice but to recast, then yeah, just recast and move forward. Do you know? But because it's like, as I was saying a while ago with the MCU movies, it's another movie slated and pushed back, which was supposed to be. Now, I mean, I could be wrong. Wasn't it supposed to be either like end of this year or early?
It's still on the same release date though. It's next year.
Okay, so I thought it was supposed to be like early 2022.
It was early 2022, but it was pushed back in the last slate of pushbacks.
Oh, so it was pushed back with all of the rest of them.
Yeah.
When they were all pushed back, yeah.
It's not,
so
it's basically not pushed back again, apparently.
So how is this working now? So Far From Home.
They've shot all the stuff they don't need for her.
But for Far From Home is December, right?
Yeah.
So how long out?
The next one then is Doctor Strange in April or May, I think. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, because they have them like the principal photography shot.
Yeah, and they've
so after Doctor Strange, how far out then is the next MCU movie?
I'm not actually
Are we talking late 2022?
No, it's definitely end of summer, and then
November. But wasn't the slate pushed back though? For all their like mid to late 2022 movies.
Yeah, but there is still 3 in 2022 as far as I know.
Thor's the one in the summer.
Love and Thunder, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So principal photography is done on all those movies. So everything that's kind of like in production now gets pushed back.
Yeah, that's in the can, as they say.
Yes. But I mean, to be fair,
Jonathan
that's not a
said,
bad slate of movies.
well,
Amber Heard is a fucking cunt.
He's in similar shit with Aquaman 2. Can't go to Australia due to admitting she lied in court over a dog case. It's mentioned during their part. She shouldn't be on that movie anyway.
But did you hear what actually happened as well as what originally, like, with Aquaman 2 got shut down?
It's not like sure he was that big of an
Because
actor not to be replaced.
Jason Momoa got injured. Did you hear about this? No.
No.
She nearly stabbed his fucking eye out. They were doing a fight scene and she hit him like right here, and he was
Jesus.
like, he was being interviewed and his whole eye was black and blue and everything, like, so they had to shut down.
Thought it was Johnny Depp.
Yeah, basically, fucking had flashbacks of rage killing Johnny, like.
But like, she should have been recasted anyway. Like, especially with like Johnny Depp lost a lot of work. She should have lost a lot of work because neither was.
It's totally fucking fair, but that's the double standard in Hollywood, my friend. Especially with Warner Brothers.
It's not like sure he was that big of an actor not to be replaced. The guy in Iron Man, a prime example. Yeah,
no,
like,
I do agree with that.
Terrence Howard wanted more money than Robert Downey Jr. That's why he got replaced.
Is that what that was?
He wants to be on even money, basically.
I bet you he was kicking himself now.
Next time, baby. I'm afraid not. So, guys, that is going to be our show for tonight. I know we're finishing 10 minutes early, but my shoulder is in absolute bits and I need to go to bed. Tubbs is sick as well. And Bruno is
and I have
sick
the bladder repeat today, so I'm like pissing 24/7. It's kind of like a double-edged sword, though, because I'm drinking a ton of fucking water to stay hydrated, but then I'm pissing it all out of myself. So, yeah, it's the fucking point.
Jonathan said they're not 100% agree, Brian, not to mention the shitstorm that will show up when Aquaman 2 opens if she's in it. Yeah. Like, when I watched the thing,
I agree.
When I watched the new Justice League remaster or whatever the fuck it was, when she turned up at the very end, I was so pissed off seeing her in it.
Right. I mean, and this is it. It's like you know, and some people then be saying like, oh yeah, no, but look, it doesn't matter about her. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to go see the movie. I'm like, you don't understand. Like there's hatred for her worldwide at the moment. Like the hatred on her head is a very high one,
and it's deserved for her. Not like not like the hate that's there for Brie Larson. I know.
Oh no, but like, you mean, look, we all know that like the hate for Brie Larson is 50%.
Brie Larson gets hated because she said the truth about some comic book nerds. Get out of your basement or something like that. Was it? That's where that comes from.
Yeah, I mean, I think, all jokes. I mean, I know I ripped the piss and fucking say some horrendous shit about Brie Larson, like, but I think Brie Larson's biggest issue, realistically, is that like she has no.
She's above all these things.
Yeah, but I think I think the one major thing she's guilty of is just being an idiot, saying stupid shit constantly and just fucking, getting like and. I mean, not even that. Look, I don't know her personally. She honestly seems like she's an asshole. She just seems like she is, which is why it's easy to make fun and just fucking rip the piss about her, But
Damien
she should get cancelled as well.
No talking about French cheese tonight. Try Swiss for a Swiss. I can't even say it.
Yeah.
Try Swiss for a change.
Swiss Jesus.
Swiss cheese, bye. Anyway, lads, thank you once again for dropping by in the comments. You're all great crack. It's great fun debating stuff like this with you every week. Honestly, like, great crack and gets me.
And we love that you listen to us ramble off our madness every week
and argue with us. Good fun, and
it's good fun. I love the interaction.
We'll be back next week. Hopefully, I will be here anyway, and during the week I'll have loads of reviews and stuff on the channel, so check those out. Hit the likes and all that stuff.
And I promise I'm gonna like catch up on some of the shit I haven't watched yet.
Bruno not on the show, and Tubbs is nice to Brie. What the fuck? I know, it's like I've entered the Twilight Zone. What the fuck is going on?
It's like fucking wow. We're gonna have to tell Bruno about this. Like,
I had this lined up for nothing. Like,
wow. But it was still a Brie moment, Brie Larson
Tubbs,
moment.
You almost forgot. What's that in your hand?
Pacha!
Is that a PS5 controller?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That's
PS5
awesome.
controller.
Brand new.
I think it's I think what's wrong is because I'm fucking like not I'm kind of sick, so and you're fucked up that like
You're
I don't
tired,
think
and I'm too tired to rein you in.
I'm too tired to hate on Brie Larson like for readers this week, so I'm just like I'll just say nice things.
She's just a gobby cunt anyway, so there we go.
Yeah, she is a cunt like an
We'll
I
hate-
did
we'll
call her
hate-
an asshole though.
We'll hate an Amber Heard instead. Rotten, dirty shit the bed, dirty cunt.
Yeah, but see, to be fair, like I mean, like that's a just one, and I think everyone will just fucking. We should just fucking have an Amber Heard moment every second,
Justice
third
League
week.
deserves her, and she deserves the Justice League. DC for life, bro.
Fuck you, buddy. Fuck you.
Fuck you, man. Fuck you, man. But,
So,
yeah,
Brian, you're going to spend another week off, so nursing the elbow or the
more
shoulder.
weeks off.
Yeah, a lot of
But at this stage, heavy lifting, yeah.
a lot of heavy lifting.
At this stage, I won't be fucking back before Christmas. Oh, anyway.
Come here, Ancho. And if that's the case, you just fucking enjoy it.
Yeah, with no money.
Money's not
for
everything,
nobody.
my friend.
But it is. You do need it to live, and we'll leave.
Well, to be fair, we did say at the start of the show. I'm saying here right now, money's not everything. But at the start of the show, I literally said I can't buy all the cool things I want because my kids have to have Santa. You know.
Oh well, just tell him Santa's not real. Ruins it for him anyway. Mick Holland, very last minute. Meow sent a chicken. Death by doggies. Jonathan says no.
No excuses, Tubbs.
But yeah, thanks,
I
guys.
said the nice thing. We're in
Release-
Bizarro world this week, folks. This is what's
The
happening.
dwarf is tired, Mick.
The
this week.
dwarf is tired, Mick. He's just
He needs
tired today.
He needs a small nap.
I'm gonna go watch something. That's what I'm gonna do.
Dead by doggies. Yes, we got
Dead
it
by
in.
doggies.
Right, guys, have a good one. Check
Right.
you next week. Bye.
See you next Sunday, kiddos.